The internet is getting more fake every day. Fake news, astroturfed reviews, what are marketers to do? In this week's episode, we look at how brands can build trust in an era where it's hard to know who to believe. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Marketing is Broken, the weekly show where we accidentally discover what's real and what's fake in the marketing world. Twitter is automatically deleting 10 accounts every second. According to a recent story over at Fast Company, the social media platform has to remove 6 to 7.5 million accounts per week and struggles to keep up with all the bots. Whether they try to influence voters, scam you out of money, or just leave bogus reviews, fake online accounts might represent a growing threat to marketers. Consider this. In a recent survey by the team at CPC Strategy, 3/4 of Amazon shoppers reported trusting the reviews they saw on the website either somewhat or fully. Not only that, but 1 in 7 shoppers say that review are among the biggest purchase factors that they consider. Meanwhile, a recent Washington Post investigation found that more than half of all the reviews in popular categories like Bluetooth headphones and speakers were either fake or suspicious. We live in a world where consumers have put a lot of faith into what they see online, whether it's the people they follow on Twitter, the news they read on different websites, or the reviews they consider when they make their purchases. If they ever truly figured out the shenanigans that we marketers are capable of, would they be capable of looking at the brands we work for the same way? We wanted to know how brands could genuinely gain their consumers' trust. So we reached out to Jennifer Zick, the CEO and founder of the Minneapolis-based consulting group Authentic Brand, to get her thoughts on how brands can gain trust the right way. Be honest, how many Twitter bots have you personally created?
I love that question. None. I have not created a single bot. I actually wouldn't even know how to do so. I find it fascinating that there are so many people that have the energy and apply all of their intelligence to doing such crazy things. But I have one Twitter account that is my own, and I have another Twitter account for our business. That's about it.
Well, we're going to fact check that. Be rest assured. So should marketers be concerned about the rise of the fake web?
I think that's a great question. I think concerned, no, but I think aware, yes. And here's why I would say that. I think the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And when we get afraid and concerned about things, we tend to have knee-jerk reactions to them, right? So I think the best thing that marketers can do in the face of fake news and the kinds of, propaganda type aspects of information that infiltrate our world every day is to be a voice of truth that stands out, but to learn from what's working to the benefit of the fake news creators. So I have some thoughts to share on that, but I think, no, don't be concerned. Yes, be aware and be proactive about learning from how that works and how you can leverage it.
That's great. So on the topic of actually contributing to fake news and fake reviews and things like that, as a marketer or employee, what should you do if a client or boss comes to you and asks you to either contribute a positive review or maybe tweet an endorsement of the company or some other form of astroturfing?
That's a great question too. And my business, the name of my business is Authentic Brand. So clearly authenticity is important to me. It's important to the relationships that we have internally with our staff and team members, externally with our clients. And I've had some experiences that were truly inauthentic that really kind of compelled me in this direction with my business. So I can share a story and a lesson that I've learned along the way. The net of it, the answer to your question is, if you feel it authentically, certainly provide the review. That's helpful to the relationships you value, and it's helpful to others in making choices. If you don't feel it, and if it's not true, don't do it and don't feel pressured to do it. A little story from my past. I spent 13 years being a founding team member, the first employee of a startup in Minneapolis that grew to become one of the Twin Cities' largest, most successful consulting businesses. And I had the opportunity from the ground level to help shape and create a really unique culture in that organization and to be really invested in that culture. In that organization, we had a lot of employee advocacy and a lot of reviews and even on Glassdoor that were really positive and really authentic and never even solicited. I remember the day as the marketing leader that I discovered we even had Glassdoor reviews, and they were really positive. After that experience, after 13 years in that business, I had changed a couple roles a couple times, joined a Bay Area consultancy that looked really great on the outside. And I had joined the company based on some relationships I had there, had never even looked at their Glassdoor reviews. And during the very honeymoon phase of my brand new role in that company, the CEO pulled me aside and said, hey, we have some really negative reviews on Glassdoor. Can you help me boost this up and get some employees that'll give us some good reviews? And, you know, of course, wanting to impress my boss, and also because I felt that love, and I had transferred a bunch of trust into this company. I thought, sure, I can help with that. So I went and wrote a rave review based on my, long, 2-week tenure with that company, only to discover as time played out that the negative reviews that had existed there had really decent merit. And so I became part of fake news inadvertently. I transferred trusting experiences I had had in past lives into that experience, and was much too quick to make that decision and to try to seek, some level of approval from the person who asked of me. So don't do it. I've been there, I've done it. It doesn't feel good in the end.
I feel like it's oftentimes like in the first 30 days, that's when, when you're asked to leave that positive review on Glassdoor. So
Yeah.
maybe it's part of, maybe we don't do that. Yes. So what can brands do to gain trust from consumers the right way then? I mean, obviously having a good product or service is important, but what else?
Yeah. Well, trust, they say, is gained in drops and lost in bucketfuls, right? I think that's really, really true. We can gain a reaction very quickly. And I think what we can learn from fake news experiences is just to validate what we know through neuroscience is true, that human beings, whether they're consumer purchasers or business purchasers, they make decisions based on emotion, and they back it up with ration, right? So we're emotionally driven creatures. And when information inundates us that's very emotionally triggering, we're likely to have a reaction to that. We've seen that play out in that fake news culture. What we can learn from that experience as marketers who actually want to create engagement but also build trust and build long-term trust is that engaging emotion is important and it's essential. Brands that win and that create engagement are those that can appeal to the emotional aspect of the human buyer, whether it's in a B2C or a B2B context. And the most powerful emotion is to show someone their pain, whether they're aware of it or they're not sure it exists, to really bring up pain. They want to avoid pain more than they want to create a new gain in their lives or in their business. So when we can reach somebody emotionally, and that's a lot of the work that we do at Authentic Brand, is about messaging and brand positioning and messaging into the so what of the buyer, that gets us their attention. And then we have the opportunity to create trust with that attention by delivering an actual solution that backs up our promise and doing that repeatedly over time. So a lot of brands can gain that initial emotional reaction, but then they can't prove it out over the long term, and they fail to build trust. So trust simply takes time.
Jennifer Zig, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for this week. What are your thoughts? Are bots, fake news, and online reviews ruining it for all of us consumer-fearing marketers out there? Or will those that try to create truly trustworthy brands prevail? Share your thoughts with a comment, and you might just win yourself some new Brandish Insights gear. We'll see you next time. Hey, it's Josh from Brandish Insights. Thank you for watching Marketing is Broken. If you like this week's episode, please click below to subscribe or check out other episodes. And if your company could use more insights around your branding efforts, check out brandishinsights.com. Marketing broke, but we fixed it.